The Magnificent 10. The 10 Most Powerful Crucial Dating Tips for Men. By Mr. Locario. Introduction. 1. Date a lot of women at one time. 2. Don't feel guilty about acting like a man. 3. You're not a nice guy, so don't act like one. 4. Getting her number isn't enough. 5. Be real, but don't show her everything. 6. First dates should be cheap. 7. Don't call her again. 8. Don't put the pussy on a pedestal. 9. Don't be her friend. 10. You don't need a woman to enjoy your life. Recommended reading about the author introduction. Hey, this is Mr. Locario. I wrote this booklet to help men who want to have sex with more women. The information you're about to read will help perfect your approach to meeting women, maximize your sex life, and boost your self-confidence. This is just the beginning of your new dating life. There's more to come in the full-length book, How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day, available at www.mrlocario.com. Thank you for checking out the Magnificent 10. Get ready to improve your life in the world of dating. Mr. Locario. Chapter 1. Date a lot of women at one time. Men who are really successful in dating and find the type of women that they enjoy being with are men who date a lot of women at one time. Dating more than one woman at a time increases your chances of getting laid and makes you more comfortable around women. You'll seem less desperate and more attractive to the women you meet. You'll also grow to understand yourself better in relationships, and learn how to make them more fulfilling and satisfying for you. One of the immediate benefits of dating multiple women is that it will give you a more active sex life. On any given night, you'll have more than one option of who to go to bed with. You'll be getting more sex because you'll have a number of girls to choose from. If one girl that you're dating is being flaky, just call someone else. You're more likely to get sex this way than a guy who's only seeing one woman. For more on how to date many women, check out How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. With many dating options, you'll feel more comfortable around women. The consistency of approaching and talking with a number of different women will help improve your skills of interacting with the opposite sex. Some men feel nervous when they talk to women, but the only way to get over that nervousness is just to go out there and do it. Don't worry about rejection, it happens to everybody. You just have to get out there and start interacting with these ladies. After a while, you will get used to talking to women. It will be like second nature to you. You'll end up doing it without even thinking about it. When you're in a lot of casual relationships, you are more attractive to new women. This is because you give off the vibe that you don't desperately need them. Women find this attractive. They see that you're confident, can have any woman you want, and don't need anyone in particular. This is probably the most important advice that I can give you. Date a lot of women at one time. You'll have more sex and be more confident. Plus, it will give you a better understanding of how you are while you interact with women. Chapter 2. Don't feel guilty about acting like a man. Men need to stop apologizing for their sexuality. A lot of guys actually feel guilty about thinking and acting like men. When men find themselves staring at a woman's breasts or fantasizing about running a hand between her legs, they usually feel bad about it. They also tend to feel guilty about having a one-night stand, or using a woman's affections just for the sex. Many men have been convinced that these thoughts and urges are disrespectful, when it's actually just a natural part of their biological makeup. Feeling guilty about being a man can stop you from having a great sex life. It's not surprising that men feel guilty. From a young age, women have been telling you how immoral, disrespectful, careless, and stupid men are. Men don't know how to think with their heads. If he had any respect for women, he'd control himself better. Men are dogs. When you reach adulthood, you've internalized this information. In an attempt to live up to the female standards of how a good man should behave, you find yourself trying desperately to suppress urges and feelings. Then, if and when you do act on them, you feel that you have failed at being a good man. The reason women say there is something wrong with being a man is because they don't understand what being a man is like. If they did, they wouldn't try to make you feel guilty for all of the sexual thoughts and urges that come up for you. You aren't doing these things to be a jerk or because you are a sex-crazed maniac. You're not even trying to hurt anyone. Women say these things because they don't understand the male experience, and because they don't want to feel degraded. But the seduction that comes out of that desire does attract her to you. Suppressing these feelings will make her think you're not interested at all. You won't be giving off the right type of energy if you're feeling guilty about it, and you definitely won't be able to seduce her. What men and women need to realize is that thinking and acting like a man does not mean you're a bad person. You need to accept your manly thoughts and urges, and start acting on them more. That doesn't mean chasing down a woman with a big booty to comment, "Nice ass." And it doesn't mean walking up to a woman in a tight shirt and grabbing a breast. It just means that you shouldn't be afraid to express yourself sexually to a woman, and you shouldn't feel bad about it either. A woman would rather you show you're attracted to her than behave like you aren't. 10. So go ahead. Act like a man. Chapter 3. You're not a nice guy, so don't act like one. You want her to like you. You want to impress her. You want her to feel good around you. But then, she said I'm too nice? What the F at? So many men have told me they were turned down for being the nice guy. You've probably heard similar stories. Why, you've wondered, would a woman turn down a really nice guy? A guy might think that a woman will like him more if he caters to her, never disagrees with her, and always tries to impress her. He'll try not to state his own opinions, thinking that this will make her like him. But the truth is that women don't like nice guys. They know it's an act. He's not being himself, they think. He's just acting nice. They usually assume that guys who do this are insecure or have ulterior motives. The fact is that you aren't a nice guy. And you shouldn't be acting like one. Don't take it personally, nobody is a nice guy. What I'm saying is that you probably don't agree with all her opinions, you don't like all her favorite spots, and you don't think everything she says is interesting. You might enjoy and agree on some things. But if you're playing the nice guy, then she won't know what you actually agree on and what's part of the act. You're not giving her a chance to know that you really are nice and interesting in your own way. You probably are a nice guy, but a nice guy act doesn't allow you to express that. It doesn't show your cool, fun, or naturally nice side. So basically all you have to do is act like yourself with a woman. At first, it might feel awkward to let her know that you disagree or that you have different preferences. But it will show that you're someone who speaks his mind and isn't constantly trying to impress her. You'll appear more confident and more yourself. She'll be able to see your true nice side, and not be frustrated with the nice guy act. Chapter 4. Getting her number isn't enough. Most men feel really excited when they get a woman's phone number. They think sex will be the next step. I got her number, they think. Now all I have to do is call, set up a time to meet, and pretty soon I'll be getting into her pants. The truth is, getting her number doesn't guarantee that you're going to have sex with her. First, there are other ways of getting in contact with girls that you should utilize. Email addresses and social networking sites like Facebook, MySpace, etc. can be very useful in these situations. Don't focus all of your attention on getting a number. But the key to converting a phone number into a sexual encounter is in what you do before she gives you the number. The main thing before getting her number is to make sure she feels comfortable around you. You have to remember that you are in competition with every other guy out there. So you want to stand out. By the end of your interaction, you want her hoping she'll be able to see you again. To get to this point, you need to build a level of comfort with her. You want her to feel that there is a special connection between you, as if she's known you for years. For more on the most effective ways to approach women, check out How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. As you talk with her, give off the impression that you aren't really trying to get with her. Keep a sort of, I could take it or leave it attitude. She'll assume you might be interested because you approached her, but at the same time you won't seem desperate for her attention. This makes you seem more confident and more mysterious. At this point you've separated yourself from all the other guys that are drooling over her. You'll seem noticeably different and memorable. When you are talking to her, your main objective is to ask her questions to get information on what type of girl she is. Then respond with some things you have in common with her. Also remember to respond with things that you disagree on. For example, maybe the girl you're talking to says she likes to go dancing and go on picnics. Your response could be something like, I love dancing. If you play your cards right, I could show you some moves. Then you add playfully, I don't go to picnics though. Do you really like ant-flavored food? What's happening here is that you are connecting with her by letting her know that you have some things in common, which is the dancing. You are also showing her you are your own man with your own opinions by stating that you're not that into picnics, even though she is. By showing that you aren't into everything she's into, you come off as more real than most men she's spoken to this evening. It also makes her feel like she is really getting to know you. If you agreed with everything that she said and liked everything she likes, she might think that you're trying to impress her. Make sure you stay away from being the nice guy here. The differences in your personality are what separate you from other guys and also makes you more interesting to her. While you're getting to know her likes and dislikes, she is getting to know your likes and dislikes too. Now she will start to feel a connection with you. This will put you in a better position to get her number. This connection you have made makes you stick out in her mind too. So when you call her later, she'll remember you. She'll also be thinking about the connection you had and how it made her feel. A few more steps, and you'll be getting into her pants. Chapter 5. Be real, but don't show her everything. The first impression you give a woman can determine if you'll get to sleep with her or not. It is important to be yourself when you first meet women. There are 2 mistakes that men usually make at this point. Either they hide what they're really like, or they pile on too much information about themselves. The first is a mistake because holding back what you're really like doesn't give her enough information on who you really are. The second is a mistake because telling too much about yourself doesn't leave anything for her to find out later, taking the mystery and intrigue out of the interaction. When they are first getting to know you, women want to figure out if you're someone they'd want to date. Women will enjoy the initial intrigue of not knowing you yet. You are still somewhat mysterious and exciting to them. If you are too focused on making a good impression, a woman will probably know and lose interest quickly. When you expose your true personality though, you give off the impression that whatever you are saying or doing isn't fake. She'll recognize that you aren't trying too hard to make a good first impression. When you act like yourself, you're saying to her, "Hey, this is me. Take it or leave it." Acting like yourself when you first meet a woman helps her feel as if she knows you better. This will make her feel more comfortable around you because she feels like you are being the real you. If she is more comfortable around you, she is more likely to have sex with you sooner rather than later. At this point, you should give her enough information so that she doesn't see your first impression as a front. Being honest about who you really are also helps you get exactly what you want. It gives the woman a chance to decide if you're the type of guy she wants. This saves both of you time and energy. Maybe you want to date around and have casual sex, for example. If you say so, she might be feeling the same way, and you'll know this could work. If she's not, then you'll know it won't. Either way, you avoid the pretense and misunderstandings that break up so many relationships. You won't have to deal with all the drama that occurs from you and her wanting different things. While it's good to be honest, you don't want to tell a woman everything about yourself. When you're first meeting her, she doesn't need to know all the details about your private life. She might be turned off to learn that you spend entire weekends playing video games, that your ex-girlfriend broke your heart, or that you always jerk off to internet porn sites before bed. She might be bored to hear about the fishing trips your dad used to take you on, or the play-by-play developments of a game you watched. You don't want to give her too much information. When you're first meeting a woman, make sure you being yourself but avoid talking her into boredom. Expose enough about who you really are for her to feel comfortable and know you're the kind of guy she'd like to know better. By doing this, you'll be able to spend time with more women who are into you and who you are into also. Chapter 6. First dates should be cheap. A first date is like a business merger. Imagine that you and your date are representatives, looking to agree on developments that could benefit both of your companies. You are each on the same level, both interested in getting to know more about the other. If all goes well with this first meeting, you might decide to go on more dates. If all goes well with these other dates, you may decide you're a good match for each other. There is a chance though, that you might not be into her and she might not be into you. When you're planning a first date, keep in mind that you are still seeing if you like this girl. You don't want to waste your money on some girl who you'll later decide you don't even like. This is why I usually advise guys not to pay for a woman on a first date at all. Either you should both pay, or do something that's free. Always plan what you're going to do with her before going on the date. This way you'll be more confident and in control of how things are going. You'll also be prepared with whatever cash you might need. If what you're doing is going to cost money, then at least make sure it's something cheap. Don't be the guy who takes a girl on a first date, spends a lot of money, and then never gets to see her again. Some women might request that you take them to dinner or somewhere else expensive. But why spend hard-earned money on her? You're not even sure if you're into her yet, and you aren't sure how she feels about you either. If she asks you to take her to dinner, or insists that it's the man's job to pay for first dates, you should tell her to keep it moving. She's not worth the time, and you can find another girl to go out with. It's always good to keep your options open. If you are looking to make a good business merger, you contact and meet with many potential companies. With women, you should go on many first dates too. Spending little or no money on these first dates will ensure that you can afford them all. Keep your first dates with a woman even. You are both on the same level of interest and neither of you should pay more. The first date is both people's chance to find out if they want to continue getting to know the other. Take as many women on first dates as you can, but plan them so you don't spend a lot. On first dates, it will benefit you most to focus on getting to know a girl without emptying your pockets. Chapter 7. Don't call her again. It doesn't matter how much you like a woman. If she isn't responding to your calls, you need to stop calling. You may feel that if you keep trying to contact her, she will eventually get back to you. Maybe you're hoping that this time, she'll pick up the phone, or that she'll be intrigued by your persistence. Unfortunately, this is not how dating works. In this situation, your best move is to be less persistent. This is how it works. The key is to let her know that you will not be calling her again. If she hasn't returned your third phone call, leave her a closing message. I describe this as the ultimatum call. For more on the ultimatum call, check out How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. Your message could be something like, "I've been trying to get in touch with you for the last few weeks, but you haven't answered my messages. I like hanging out with you, and it would be fun to see you again. But if I don't hear back from you, I won't call you again. Now you've put yourself in a win-win situation. If she calls back, then you can see her. If she doesn't call back, then you can stop wasting your time on her. The reason you should give a woman 3 chances is because there might be a reason she didn't get back to you. It probably has nothing to do with you either. Maybe she's doing a lot of things in her life and can't focus. Maybe she really likes you and is nervous to see you again. Maybe she's in a bad mood that day. Maybe she's been feeling insecure. Maybe she's afraid of getting hurt. The ultimatum call usually helps a woman realize that if she doesn't get with the program, she might lose a great guy. Suddenly she needs to act or else be cut off. She's been warned that she can't take you for granted. Unless she was really trying to ditch you, you'll probably hear from her soon enough. Remember that the ultimatum call should be handled carefully. It will not work as an empty threat. You need to be sincere and mean what you're saying. Once you've said that she needs to call you to stay in touch, don't go back on it. Dating multiple women at one time will help you stay true to your word here. Some women will need to be cut off. If you're seeing others though, it won't be so difficult. Don't put a deadline on when she should call you back either. Leave it open-ended. Say something like, if I don't hear from you after this call, I won't be calling you anymore. If you leave it open like this, there is still room for you to play into the situation later. You still aren't going to call her, but what happens is sometimes out of the blue that girl might call you. It might not be right away, but sometimes they call. Don't just take her back just because you really want to see her though. You have to let her know that you and your time are valuable. I remember I cut this girl off once, and thought I'd never hear from her again. Next thing I know, she calls me 3 months later out of nowhere. She told me that she wanted to see me. I wanted to see her too, but I reminded her of what had happened before. I told her that if she wants to see me, she'll have to make it up to me. A few days later, she took me out to dinner, paid for the whole thing, and then took me back to her place. So when you leave it open, it gives you room to play around if she calls back. If she calls back, tell her she has to make it up to you somehow. Make her work for it. If a woman isn't responding to you, don't waste another call on her. Make sure you are dating multiple women, because I guarantee that some of them will eventually have to be cut off. If you've tried to contact a woman twice and she isn't getting back to you, it's time for the ultimatum call. Try to keep it open for her to call you back at some point. If she does though, make her work to get your attention back. Don't waste your time on a woman who isn't calling you back. Just don't call her again. Chapter 8. Don't put the pussy on a pedestal. Don't get me wrong. Pussy is great. But it's not and shouldn't be treated like a religious icon. To be successful with a woman, you shouldn't be worshipping her. Treat her like a woman, not a god. Worshipping a girl will turn her off, and hurt your chances with her. She wants someone who will seduce, interact with, and challenge her. She doesn't want a disciple. Putting the pussy at too high a standard will mean you are valuing sex for more than it is. You're also acting like women are somehow superior to you, that you are a lower, lesser person. You do things for women just to please them, longing for their approval. In doing this, you give off the impression that being yourself isn't good enough. A woman can tell when a guy is putting her on a pedestal. And it isn't attractive. Most women find this type of behavior awkward because they themselves don't feel like they should be treated this way. A woman likes a guy that appreciates her, but she doesn't want him to worship her. She'll probably be wondering, what exactly have I done to deserve this? This guy can't be sincere. Most women want to be with a man who is comfortable being himself. They also want their man to accept them for who they are, flaws and all. Treating a woman like a god will only add awkwardness and insincerity to your interactions with her. You won't be having much sex with her this way either. Remember that you and the women you date are equal players in the same game. Don't ruin your chances by putting the pussy on a pedestal. Chapter 9. Don't be her friend. Each woman you know has put you in one of two categories. Either you are a guy she might want to eventually sleep with, or you are a non-sexual friend. To be successful in the dating world, you need to avoid being the friend as much as possible. I say this because the more you find yourself in the friend zone, the less sex you will be getting. If she thinks of you as a friend, she's less likely to have sex with you. A lot of men feel they should be respectful as they get to know a woman, and don't try to seduce her. In an attempt to be polite, understanding, and thoughtful, they quickly end up stuck in the friend zone. Getting into this zone with too many women also hurts these guys' seduction game. They've gotten used to interacting with women in a non-sexual manner. For more on avoiding the friend zone, check out How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. On meeting a girl that you like, you might think your best approach is to be kind, sweet, and respectful. Women might even tell you that they want this. Unfortunately, they often fail to realize that if you act like this, it changes how they'll view you. While these nice guy moves may win you another female friend, they are not going to help your sex life. They're basically a one-way track to the friend zone. And most women won't even consider having sex with their male friends. By interacting with women as a friend and not trying to seduce them, you are ruining your chances for sex. The reason is that once you're in the friend zone, there's little chance of it ever turning sexual. You've become too friend-like, too non-sexual. It makes a woman think of you like one of her girlfriends rather than a potential lover. Even if you tried to seduce her at this point, it most likely wouldn't work. Hanging out with a lot of women as friends can also hurt your methods of seduction with other women. You will subconsciously start to approach all women you meet in a way that puts you more and more quickly into the friend zone with all of them. Instead of acting like you're attracted to them, you act like you'd like to get to know them on a non-sexual basis. You'll become the nice guy friend, rather than a potential sex partner. What I'm saying is that every woman you meet who you're attracted to should be a woman that you're trying to seduce. After you have seduced her and had sex with her, then you can decide if you want to continue sleeping with her or just be friends. The main thing to remember is that 90% of the women that you meet should be women that you are seducing and not trying to be friendly with. Get used to seducing the women you meet. You'll have more sex partners and you'll have more fulfilling relations with women in general. Chapter 10. You don't need a woman to enjoy your life. Women are great. I love women, and I know that you love women too. That's probably why you're reading this book. But what you have to realize is that getting with a woman isn't everything. It doesn't define who you are. Some men think that in order to have a happy and fulfilling life, they need to be involved with a woman. I've met so many men who define their self-worth on the women that they were dating. Their happiness seemed to rely on the relationships that they were in. When they weren't seeing any women, they would feel worthless and depressed. They weren't able to feel self-sufficient, since their enjoyment of life depended on their interactions with women. Sometimes things don't work out exactly how you might have wanted them to with some of the people you date. Women will come and go. If you based your enjoyment of life on the company of these women, then you're at their mercy. As much as you might love and appreciate their company, you don't want to become dependent on them. Not only will that harm you and your ability to be happy independently, but also it will be unhealthy for your relationships. As important as your relationships might be, you need to have your own life. Your happiness doesn't come from the women you date, it has to come from within. Focus on the other things you like to do. Have some hobbies that you continue to pursue even while you're dating women. Focus your time on other parts of life that make you feel happy and fulfilled. Recommended reading. D'Angelo, D. 2001. Double Your Dating. David D'Angelo Marketing Incorporated, retrieved May 16, 2002, from the World Wide Web www.daviddeangelo.com. French, M. 2005. Why Men Fall Out of Love. New York, New York, Ballantine Books. Louis, R. and Copeland, D. 1998. How to Succeed with Women. Paramus, New Jersey, Reward Books. Mystery. 2007. The Mystery Method, How to Get Beautiful Women into Bed. New York, New York, Mystery Method Corporation. Nasheed, T. 2000. The Art of Mackin. Chicago, Illinois, Research Associate School Times Publications. Strauss, N. 2005. The Game, Penetrating the Secret Society of Pickup Artists. New York, New York, HarperCollins Publishers Incorporated. About the author. Mr. Locario has been featured on VH1, Fuse, The Dish Network, TLC, ABC Family, The Tyra Banks Show, and Anderson Cooper. He has also written for FlaglerHill.com, SinglesWarehouse.co.uk, DatingAdvice.com and the Fort Greene New York Times blog. What separates Mr. Locario from other relationship gurus is his no-nonsense realistic approach to the dating game and the game of life. The idea is to give men and women the knowledge, truth, and confidence to understand what they want. Thus, helping create the best options for themselves in love and in life. Mr. Locario's dating advice is accessible through online videos, blogs, and his website www.merlocario.com. He is also available for individual support and counseling. In addition to his relationship analysis work, Mr. Locario is a rap artist and actor. In 1996, he founded the entertainment company Atox Incorporated. For the last 14 years, he has and still performs under the name of Trends in New York, California, Florida, and New Mexico. He was also featured on TV stations such as ABC Family Network, MTV, and VH1 and magazines such as Rolling Stone, Blender, Source, and Vibe. For more info on Mr. Locario, check out http://www.mrlocario.com. http://www.mrlocario.com. http://www.facebook.com/merlocario. https://twitter.com/merlocario. Become a Mr. Locario Bad Boy member and get 45 90-minute never before seen exclusive step-by-step dating advice tutorials every month. Good luck and date plenty.